Hey everybody. So this week, another loaded week. Just every week is loaded lately. Very volatile market we're in. So this week is actually a lot easier than like other weeks. We just have like two very, very, very distinct levels that are extremely important and pivotal this week for the QQQ. So we have this recent low from January 24th at 334, which also happens to be the low from 222.22. And so that's actually a huge level right there, 334. So if we break under that 333 level, we can very easily retest the 330 level and maybe bounce there. And if we, break this low of this day, we can see this low. As you can see here, we bounced hard and the plunge protection team came in. That's what I think happened at least. And bought this up for support, and and then we kind of almost saw that low again here, and then we ripped higher. So I mean, we could do something like that where we dip back down to here and then we rip higher, or we could just start ripping immediately on Monday, which is it seems like that's where the momentum is right now. Unless we break that 337 level. But the levels here are just very clean cut. If we're over 346, we can test that 353 area. And if we're over 354, 355, we can very, very, very easily see 360 and maybe even, the 365 level. But there is some resistances on the weekly that have me concerned for the upside. Because if you look at the weekly here, we have the 9 EMA in the weekly at 358, which I don't think that's an issue, but this 50-week moving average could definitely be an issue on the weekly. But from the way that it looks, we have this big reversal candle here on the weekly with the the lower wick and the green candle. So this is a strong reversal candle, just like this one was, but on this one we ripped higher and then we tanked lower to close lower, and then the next week we headed lower. So we could head higher to the 360 level and then reverse and close back down in this range here. We could just rip right up to the 21 SMA on the weekly, or even let's just say 365. I think that's definitely possible as well. And all, the market will tell us what it's going to do based on the volume and the price action. If the QQQ gets over 355, the bulls will be in control. And, then we'll have to see how it reacts in that 358 to 361 range, right? And that's important, how it acts. If it goes up to 358 and it stalls and it, can't hold above 358, then that could be a bad sign. Whereas if it just rips right through and then holds at 360 and holds strong, it could just be getting ready to continue higher. So yeah, we got a lot to watch this week. Very clean levels. And it looks like we have this cup and handle type formation, right? Where we have the handle here, the cup, and then the breakout. So it's possible that we make another U here before we head higher, or we just rip right up to 353 on Monday, maybe even higher. But yeah, so the levels are pretty clear cut, 337, 345, 353. And it looks like for my weekly levels, it looks like we do have room to rip back up to 358 very easily on the weekly here. We really don't have much resistance. It's just like this area that the QQQ seems to move freely between. So, 358 is very easy to hit on the upside this week. It sometimes gets confusing to look at the market from all these different angles, the daily, the weekly, the hourly, and all that. But I think each chart has its own significance and has its own story to tell. With, of course, the daily being the most important in my opinion, but the weekly also holding quite a lot of importance as well. As you can see in the past when we've dipped real low, on the weekly we've ripped right through the 50 and the 9 and then right through the 9 and the 21 the next week. So, we can easily rip right through them. When we're moving up, it's easier to move through these resistances than when we're moving down, like to move through them, right? Because if you look here, for many, many, many weeks, it was almost impossible to break that 21 SMA. But on the upside, it's much easier, right? Because it's a very, very, very strong support. But as resistance, it's just not as strong because, the market generally wants to be above that 21 SMA on the weekly, when it's a bull market, of course. Next up, we have the SPY. So what's going on with the SPY here? I haven't even looked at this chart yet. So the SPY also has that big bullish reversal candle, and it has a lot of these moving averages above that could hold as resistance. But like I said before, it's kind of easy for these stocks to move through those resistances if we're still in a bull market. That is right. So if we're still in a bull market, then we should have no problem ripping through these levels this week. And if not this week, then next week. But yeah, this is going to be a very crucial test, right? Because we're right below that 50-week moving average. If we can get over that, that's a good sign. So over 441, we can very easily see that 454 level, it looks like. Yeah, so it looks like the 441 level is pretty significant, but we also have the 200 SMA on the daily. And now that holds a lot of significance as well. We had these very two bullish days, which last time you can see that we had two very strong volume days, but the second day didn't follow through with upside, whereas in this situation it did. So if we can rip back up into that 200 SMA, I think the next day we will continue to rip and probably see that 453 level. Because if we have enough momentum to get from here to here in 3 days, let's say, then on the fourth day we'll probably consolidate and go sideways, and then the fifth day we'd probably rip through it. Of course we could just reverse too. So I mean that 200 day is definitely a huge level, and we can go either way from there. It's gonna be important to see where the QQQ is in comparison to the SPY. But it does seem like the SPY is stronger than the QQQ right now and is holding up better than tech. But yeah, we definitely have an interesting week ahead of us again, with the VIX pretty elevated here. Over 24 is really high over the last, let's say, 2 years, right? So anytime we're over 25, it's been pretty high, and then over 29 is an extremely high VIX reading. So we're gonna have to see how we act around this 2488 level, and maybe we can come down to 20. It's possible. I do think if we come down to 20, that's a opportunity to buy puts. Wherever we are in the market, there will still be some steam to let out to the downside. And if we get up to 37, that could be a good time to go long as a counter trade, right? Or go short the VIX, short UVXY. But over 41 is where the market implodes. But yeah, anyways, good luck to everybody. I hope you guys all have a good trading week, and remember to always use your stop losses.